appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
It's midday. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News on the hour. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. One of the doctors that contracted the Ebola disease, Ameyo Adedevo, has died at the isolation unit of the mainland hospital in Lagos. The doctor, who worked at the First Consultants Hospital in Lagos, where the Liberian American that brought the disease to Nigeria was frustrated for the symptoms, died Tuesday evening. Get well messages and prayers for a recovery had dominated the social media since reports of an infection by the deadly disease became public knowledge. Adadevo, who was a senior consultant at the hospital, was in her late 50s. The Minister of Health, Onyebuchi Chukwu, has confirmed the development, which brings the total number of Ebola-related deaths in Nigeria to 5. The Federal Account Allocation Committee has announced a sharp drop in the monthly oil revenue of the country to 630.3 billion naira in July. Briefing journalists after the monthly meeting of the Federal Account Allocation Committee in Abuja, the Minister of State for Finance, Bashir Yuguda, says the sum of 6.2 billion naira was transferred to the excess crude account, bringing its current value to about $4.1 billion compared to about $4.5 billion in June. He added that the sum of 35 billion naira was also transferred to the domestic crude account for the month under review. According to him, revenue from value-added tax (VAT) also dropped to about 65.4 billion naira compared to about 66.4 billion naira the previous month. Federal government, states and local governments shared 654.5 billion naira. He explained that production hiccups, including a force majeure declared by Shell, shutdown of trunk lines and pipelines at Akpo and Boni terminals, caused a significant decline in the monthly receipts. Mineral revenue also dropped to 483.5 billion naira in July compared to about 517.3 billion naira in June, while the non-mineral component also declined to about 146.8 billion naira. The Chief of Army Staff, Kenneth Minima, has warned officers and men of the Nigerian Army to desist from any form of mutiny in the face of the ongoing campaign against the Boko Haram. He warned that any soldier who engages in any form of mutiny would risk a death sentence, as the offense is punishable by firing squad. The Army Chief, who spoke while addressing officers and men of the 82 Division in Enugu, was particularly moved at the action of soldiers who refused to serve in Maiduguri, Borno State and other parts of the Northeast. Minima also frowned at the action of some army officers' wives who recently attempted to stop their husbands from being deployed to go into action against the insurgents. Warning against a repeat of such incidents, the army chief stressed that the women have no hand in military postings, which he described as a purely military act. Minima noted that NOAA, the umbrella body of army officers' wives, is not a trade union and as a result has no reason to interfere in military duties. He also warned soldiers to steer clear of politics and politicians who might want to use them to score political points. He said they should only work for politicians when they are on official assignment during electioneering campaigns or during elections proper. A number of voters in the Federal Capital Territory could not find their names on the voters' list when they attempted to collect permanent voters' cards. This was the situation on the last day of the exercise in Abuja when CoreTV News visited some of the centers. Pai Samuel reports.
This is one of the voters' registration centers where eligible had to throng to pick up their permanent voters card. Over 1,000 voters registered at this polling unit. But now, some of these registered voters are not happy because their names are missing. After a long search for his name, this 65-year-old man had to walk away, disappointed. This woman moved from polling unit 11 to polling unit 10 just to locate her name. When she could not find it, she left the polling unit unhappy. But what could be responsible for the missing names?
The only challenge we are having now is publicity, awareness. So a lot of them, they are not aware of what is going on. And I can say we have distributed over 60% of the cards. So they will attach their passport and they will sign, you can see. And for those that cannot sign, they will turn print. They will give it out to them. There is no problem about that. But nobody can collect for anybody on the prosy basis. You cannot collect it for anybody.
In spite of the inability of some eligible voters to trace their names, many residents view the exercise as peaceful.
There is not any problem a lot. Everybody do everything fine. Everybody collect his one and go back to home. So there is no any problem. The problem is that other people come and they didn't find their own, but it's just few people, not too much like that. So I give them 85%.
But for this man who just heard about the exercise, he feels INEC has not done much in the area of sensitization.
I said if it is a permanent voters register, it's okay, so that next time in 4 or 3 years to come, people will not go and start fighting on the line again. But since it's permanent, you have to use your card, go and vote. I'm just even hearing today, and I'm coming here to check if my name is here. They have to extend the date, maybe 2-3 days, so that everybody can be informed.
The days set aside for the collection of permanent voters' card may have come to an end, but eligible who couldn't find their names have another opportunity. They will either have to check at the INEC Council office or turn up at the weekend to register afresh. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The federal government has been urged to put policies in place to encourage local manufacturing of engine lubricants. This was the highlight of the first Nigerian Lubricant Summit held at the Oriental Hotels, Lagos. Dan Alo has more in this report package from our studio. The new automotive policy introduced in the first quarter of 2013 is now attracting automobile manufacturing companies into Nigeria. According to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, over 200 vehicle manufacturing firms have shown interest in establishing car assembly plants in Nigeria. This development clearly indicates that local demand for lubricants is about to skyrocket, a situation which will put a strain on local manufacturers of the products who presently are only servicing 30% of the industry needs. To prepare the country for the expected rise in demand for local lubricants, Lubcon Oil Services, in conjunction with CMC Connect, an advertising agency, organized the first Lubricant Summit in Lagos. All the participants at the event were unanimous in their resolve to have the federal government formulate policies that will reduce import duty tariffs on oil equipment needed for local production.
Government should reduce import duty tariffs on raw materials such as base oils, additives, and packaging materials. Greater encouragement in form of sound fiscal and stable monetary policies to reduce inflationary trends must be adopted. Stable and lower interest rate regimes, and also the elimination of multiple taxations. This will attract more local and foreign investors to participate successfully in all the sectors of the nation's petroleum industry.
For Yomi Badejo Kusonya, the managing director of CMC Connect, a summit like this will keep emphasizing the economic benefits of properly regulating the lubricant arm of the oil and gas sector.
For automobile to move, for that industry to grow, you need various aspects of it. subsectors of that. And one of the critical things that automobiles use is what? Lubricants. Now, by the end of this year, we're going to have close to 15 assembly plants, I understand, in this country. Should all the oil required, the lubricants required, be imported? When we have an industry that has been established here, it needs support. So one of the areas where we thought about was that, and we're talking about infrastructure development, which means that there's need for machinery to grow.
The representative of the Petroleum Minister at the event, Binga Koku, a director at the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, says the agency is taking seriously the issue of quality in lubricants available for sale in the Nigerian market.
Prior to now, really, we used to bring in most of our lube oils from outside the country. And there are vast opportunities right here in the country to be able to, for us to go into this kind of business. What the Department of Petroleum, what the Ministry of Petroleum Resources is doing in this, supporting this, is we're putting up a lot of regulations in place to ensure that we'll encourage the market.
Participants at the event were unanimous in their opinion that the lubricant arm of the Nigerian oil and gas industry needs to be properly regulated to attract the much desired local and foreign investment, thus leading to additional economic gains for the country. You're watching CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people. The end of the attack and the legitimate authority to govern this place.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
To anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on CoreTV News.
Thank you for being there. Israel and Palestinians resumed fire across the Gaza border on Tuesday, sparking panic across the war-torn enclave where residents fled for cover as Israeli aircraft struck. A military spokeswoman says that 2 rockets hit southern Israel during the late afternoon and early evening, several hours before a 24-hour truce was to expire. 2 more were intercepted by missile defenses. Israel ordered its negotiators back from ceasefire talks in Cairo, and the Israeli military says warplanes hit Gaza. The fighting shattered 9 days of relative quiet in the skies over Gaza and cast a dark shadow over Egyptian-mediated efforts to hammer out a longer-term truce. The chief Palestinian negotiator in Cairo says on Tuesday that no progress had been made. The Palestinian delegation presented their demands for a truce to Egyptian mediators and were awaiting Israel's response. Hundreds of Palestinians were seen streaming out of Shajaya, an eastern area of Gaza City, which has been devastated by more than a month of fighting between Israel and the militant Islamist Hamas movement. 5 Palestinians were wounded, 3 in the northern area of Beit Lahia, 2 of them children. A boy is 6 and the other 9 in southern city of Rafah, according to the Gaza Emergency Services spokesman. And that's all we have for you for this hour. Join us again, top of the hour for more. Thank you for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.